G'day guys, Matt here from Not in the Manual. Finally got the time to get this headlight video done. I decided to just get into it, and I was trying to think about how to do it. I set up a little studio here in my office, and just thought I'd try and get this knocked over. Now the Model 3 headlights are, I feel like they're great. My only one negative is the left-hand headlight or the right-hand headlight, depending on which side of the road you drive on, is slightly elevated to sort of light up the edge of the road. It's great, but as you're turning a corner, the cars coming in the opposite direction just get flashed in the face with that beam. So I'm hoping at some stage that at some time soon that the adaptive function of this headlight gets turned on, and possibly that could sort of lower down for normal driving, and then as it senses that you're at the edge of the road and needs to light up the edge of the road, it will raise it automatically. Going into the adjust headlights menu in the car, you can see they're definitely adaptive headlights. You go into that menu, the lights sort of move through the range of movement and sort of almost look like they're calibrating. But you can go into that menu and go straight back out and not cause any problems. So I actually did some measurements of where the headlights were before I went in and looked at that. And I've got some tape up against a wall and marked everything out. So we may even throw those measurements in the end. So if you do think that you've messed around with the adjust headlights and you want to take it back to what it was factory, well, at least for a left-hand car that drives on the left-hand side of the road, right-hand steering wheel, then yeah, you can use those measurements. So I'll throw them in later. Yeah, so I sort of wasn't sure how to do this video, but I thought, look, we'll just get it out on the table. We'll open it up. It's just going to be sort of an off-the-cuff thing. We're just going to open it up as if, really I haven't done much. I've just sort of pulled it apart and that's it. I haven't taken the rest of it apart yet. So this will be new to me as I pull it apart as well. So I'm not going to go right down to semiconductor level and have a look at what each one is and the power and things like that. We're just going to open it up and I'll show you what's inside. So we're not going to go too technical. We'll look at how everything's arranged inside there and how it throws the light out and things like that. And we'll look at the motorized side of it and look there as well. So basically they're very well sealed. It took a bit of work to get this apart. I gave up and I just went caveman approach and cut right into it and cut around the edges. And the main thing is we get this open, you see what's inside, and it looks pretty impressive. There's a lot of work has gone into designing this headlight. Years ago, the Teslas were renowned for bad headlights. So the story I read was that Tesla approached Heller and said, can you just design us a good headlight? And I think they've done a fantastic job. The standard beams have quite a good spread. And, I've taken a couple of videos of that. I'll slip that in here somewhere as well so you can see. The daytime running lights are quite clear without being dazzling. And yeah, I think, and the high beams are fantastic. I don't even see any need to put an LED bar on the car or anything like that. Possibly if you live out in a country area, you could benefit from just having a LED bar on the front of the car to give you some additional distance in the throw. But I'm pretty impressed with the standard high beams on here. I can't wait until they turn on the adaptive function. And I think I read an article recently that all got approved in the US. So hopefully that means that the Tesla are working on getting that side of things going. But it's quite nice to know that it's got that functionality there. We'll definitely try and get it apart so we can see the matrix LEDs. And basically with the matrix LED, Tesla demonstrated with their light show what you can do with that. To actually write the letters Tesla and have them in focus on a wall in front of the car, I mean, that's pretty amazing that they can do that. So they're definitely going to be able to have your lights on high beams and, boxing out the car in front of you so that you're not shining in their revision mirror. And also for oncoming cars, it's going to be a game changer in these headlights once that function turns on. So it's definitely capable of all that. adaptive side of things. So, and whether they'll have the lights turn with the steering wheel, I found that was quite a good thing. Cornering in the Volkswagen, that was great. You know, especially on poorly lit streets, having those headlights turn as you turn the steering wheel really sort of lights up that corner and lets you see a bit more of what's coming up on the corner, around the corner. So can't wait for it to happen. So yeah, let's get into pulling this light apart. We might just have a look around the light first, have a walk around, and yeah, just have a look around the outside of it, ignoring the mess that I've made of it. And yeah, we'll just have a look at a few things externally before we open it up. Down the bottom here we have the indicator light that runs along the bottom section here. Then we have the daytime running light up the top. That's that strip along there you can see. And it's actually a plastic tube there used to distribute the light from the LEDs in the top half, and then a bit of a diffuser on the top. Then we have the headlight section, and then over here we have the main projector lamp. You can sort of see, if I get in the right spot, don't know whether you'll see it on the camera, but if you get in the right area, you can sort of see the grid pattern to the lens, to the you know, from there, from the projector lamp. So that's the one that moves around and decides which direction the light is going in. So yeah, it's quite a nice, sleek looking aerodynamic light. So the air can move over it nice and easily, and obviously contributes to the overall aerodynamics of the car. So that would focus big in the design of this headlight. Now it has a lot of plastic brackets and things for mounting in the car, and this headlight often gets replaced in accidents, really just for broken brackets and things around. We can see on the back here, we've got the main plug. So it is a 3-pin plug. I'll just try and get that focused a bit better. It's a 3-pin plug, so you would have positive, negative, and a signal wire. So it would be like a single wired CAN bus, which I know Tesla use through a lot of their system, instead of the, you know, starting to convert over to single wire CAN bus instead of having the two cable redundancy there. This is the LED driver and the main electronics. So there's a lot of wires going out to all the different LEDs and things there, and control. So it would get airflow from around the headlight, and you know, these big heatsink fins here would provide a lot of cooling. There's a lot of surface area there. So that's the main limitation with LEDs, is you can get a lot of light out of them, but you've got to keep them cool. So cooling is a big issue with LEDs. So you can usually run them, you know, pretty bright if you can keep them cool. And you know, you're getting, LEDs are progressing. It's like batteries and other technology. It's progressing at a pretty fast rate. So you're getting a lot more lumens per watt from LEDs these days. Even 5 years ago, they've come a long way. So you know, just in that semiconductor area. This light was super difficult to get apart. You can see that I really had to hack away. I had to come back here behind. There's a seal in here, in that seam there. I heated it up with a heat gun. I just couldn't get the thing apart, so I had to really take the caveman approach. And you can see here that I sort of nicked some of the wiring harnesses and things under there, but yeah, this light was not going to be used again anyway. So had to sort of cut in around here. So yeah, let me get the cameras positioned up and we'll start pulling the light apart. Okay, let's get this outer cover off and see what's inside this headlight. So the outer cover isn't too much other than the diffuser and sort of brackets and everything here, and you know, dark plastic here to separate the different beams. You have your indicator section down here. There's not much to that. There's a bit of a reflector down under the front here. Yeah, not much to that. So we'll put that to the side and look at the interesting stuff. So We'll start down the front here at the bottom. So this is your indicator. So we have a couple of different LED boards here, 2 different ones there, and then you have your reflector running along the top here. So that's going to give you a nice clean crisp indicator line. I think the indicators on these are quite good. You can see them quite clearly. And then just down in between you can start to see the motors for the projector, for moving that projector around and directing that beam. So they're down in behind there. So we're going to pull this apart and have a look further into there. And what you have is your other part of the headlight here, so the non-adaptive section. So that's just to give you a bit more spread out to the side. You can see which direction those reflectors are facing. They're going to throw light out this way and over that way as well. So that's giving you part of your nice spread that these lights have. You can see some more cooling fins there for the bigger LEDs to run those. So they're bigger, brighter LEDs. Once we get that out, we're going to have a bit more of a look, but a little bit difficult to see from your angle on the camera there, but there's some decent size LEDs under there. So they're going to need a bit of cooling, and that's what those cooling fins there are for. So we're going to get further into this. I don't know if I think there should be some cooling fans down the back here in behind this projector lamp, circulating some air through here, because if there was no air circulating, you wouldn't bother putting the cooling fins on. So I'd say we're going to find a cooling fan in the back. So at the top here, you have your daytime running lights. So there's 2 sections to this. There is the small LEDs on this board at the back, and you can see those little ones there. And then we also have this sort of light tube going along here. So that's a plastic tube with this white plastic at the back of it. So that's all white to help reflect light. So the daytime running light has this one here, and then we have the diffuser on top of that. And then back here, we would have a LED or something here sending light down through that tube. There's some screws and things to take out here, and we'll get down in behind there. I'm keen to see in underneath this projector and look and see if there's a fan at the back. So yeah, let's get that apart and have a look. Got this trusty magnetic bowl I use for when I'm doing bike repairs. Perfect for these little things. They don't go anywhere. Even if you knock the bowl over, the bolts aren't going anywhere. So quite a handy tool to have in the workshop. So yeah, here's our daytime running light board. So that can... Anyway, I don't need to pull that further apart. That's just a board running along there with the LEDs on it. And we've got another one here at the back. So yeah, that's quite good. And then you can see that light tube going down through there. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, so what we have, it looks like we've got some cooling ducts coming down here with some openings. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so that's going to be directing airflow. The only reason you'd do that would be if you have a fan in here somewhere. So we'll keep going apart here. Here is the projector lamp. We can now start to see the back. Now there's going to be that's going to be the LED matrix at the back here. So once we get some of these other things out of the way, we'll be able to go and have a look at the LED matrix. Looks like we're going to be able to get right into this and see a lot. I was worried it was all going to be sealed up and I was going to have to do some more cutting apart of things. But yeah, it looks like this is all going to come apart quite easily. Yeah, that'll be good. We might get the indicator off here now, next. Any doubt with who's made this light? You can see the Hella logo there, so no doubt there. So yeah, you can see just the LED boards here. They're all soldered in place. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there on that. And then that's allowing us to see in here a bit further in with the servo motors. And we might just get this this headlight section out here next. This is my trusty Swiss Army knife. I've had this since I was 12 years old, and I'm now 46 years old, so I've had that for a very long time, and it's still going strong. Everything still works. Okay, I was trying to undo these screws here and realised that they're not the normal 6-point Torx. They're the 5-point Torx, which are called Torx Plus. So I had to go and grab the 5-point ones, and it should be a 20. If you can see that, there's these little plugs at the back and they're very difficult to get out. There we go. Okay, now we've got this normal headlight section out, and you can see there's some substantial sized LEDs there, and obviously requiring all that cooling. Yeah, that's just the reflector. That's all aluminium. Feels like aluminium. And yeah, so we might just take one of those off and have a better look. Okay, so this is the LED here. So you can see it's much wider and brighter. So I've got some looks like some pretty efficient cooling going on there. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. So we'll put that to the side. And then looking down in behind, we've got a better view of the motors here now. And we can start taking, that looks like it's one big assembly there. So you can sort of feel that rocking around. I've already got a bracket that I've taken out over there. So I think it's just, I might unplug this module. Go. So those of you who wanted to see that, there's a lot of connections in there. So feeding out to all the components in the light. So you would have power coming in here, communications, and then everything else, all these components in here would be controlled by that. So, you know, that's the brains of the light. So flip that back over. You can see those 3 wires coming in. Just having a bit of a look to see what else. All right, so it looks like just a couple more screws and that will come out. Okay, so I had to try and sort of work out what needed to be done here. So there's actually a clip here that I ended up breaking, and it's on a ball. You can see that moving around there, just here. So it's like a ball clip, but I just couldn't get that thing to come away no matter what I did. So it ended up breaking. And there's another one here. So you can see that little white clip on the back. That clips into this receptacle here, and you can see it pivots around. So that's how the light moves around. So it's pivoting this whole bracket here on these 2 pivot points. So that's one pivot point is there. So you can see that. And the other pivot point, we'll get this plug undone. The other pivot point you can see is here. So the light, this projector here is pivoting on this point. So you can see there's a bit of a range of movement. Now, I will try and get that unclipped. So we'll be able to see the range of movement. I may need to just get that plug out of there first. Unplug. Twist that motor. And I should be able to pull that white section out of the way. All right, got that out. Now with that motor out of the way there, it could just be an actuator. Anyway, not too sure about that. Now we can see here, I've got that out, you can see that does this range of movement, and then this actuator here, or servo motor, it's probably a servo motor with some sort of ball screw or something. It probably is just like a ball screw sort of motor with a servo motor with a ball screw built in. I'd say that's possibly what it is. We might tear one of those apart as well at some point when we get to it. Okay guys, earlier I got it wrong. I called this a servo motor when it's actually a stepper motor. So this outer section here is called the stator, and that's where all your windings are, your electromagnets. So with a stepper motor, you get precise control over the rotation of this rotor. So there's permanent magnets in there. So what this does with a stepper motor, the way the coils are energized, they get energized individually, and you can use it to position the motor as well as rotate at a certain speed. So stepper motors, you can usually tell by having more wires going in with the connections. And yeah, pretty useful if you've got something that you want to keep in a precise and hold in a precise position. So we can see with this rotor here, I've got some of this, this paper here for looking at magnetic fields. So if you have a look here, it's pretty cool. You can see those rectangular magnets in that rotor, and they react with the electromagnets in the outer part of the motor to create motion. Now when this motor moves and spins, you can see that actuator extend and then retract when you go the other way. And it's really well made. There is very, very little play in that mechanism. It'll be a ball screw inside there. So pretty cool, and that's what's controlling the angle of the headlights. Or one of them. There's two of these motors doing this, as we saw before. Pretty cool. But you can see here that gives you that range of movement with the projector, and then this other actuator here gives you the other range of movement. There's not a huge range of movement with this light by the looks of things, but you can see it's getting that little bit of a range of movement, but you know, it's also got control over that LED matrix through the focusing lens there. So yeah, let's get that LED matrix out and have a look at that. All right. That is cool. That is the LED matrix. I was expecting this whole thing to be covered in LEDs. Okay. So you can see all the little segments in there. We might try and get a close-up video and overlay that and just get a closer view. I've actually got a thing called a Mantis, which is it's like a 3D sort of microscope thing you can look through. I'll try and get some good video of that, looking through that. It's a difficult thing. It's a stereo microscope used to just looking at electronic boards, and we use it to, you know, doing teardown reports, inspecting gear tooth surfaces for cracks and just failure analysis. So I'm going to try and have a look at this LED matrix, and I've just got some dirt on it there. This isn't going to be used again anyway, but yeah, that's pretty cool. And you can see it says Hella there again. I don't know what's in focus here. This can be difficult with the GoPro. But yeah, you can see a lot of electronic components there. Big heatsink on the back, covers that whole board. Pretty neat, you know, looks pretty tidy. Looks of very good quality. And the reason that only needs to be very small is because you've got this big focusing lens here. and that will just break away like the other sections. It's on the ball. So yeah, there is our focusing lens as well. You can see through there, and I might just get my phone torch. Yeah, a little bit difficult to see, but I don't know what that does for you there. But anyway, that's a big piece of glass focusing lens to focus that small LED matrix. I'm still in shock. I thought that was going to be much larger. I didn't realise the focusing range on that. So yeah, if we sit that back on, looking down in there, I don't know what you can see there, but it looks like it takes up that whole lens. Pretty cool, but we'll just have a look at the rest of the light as well. Everything just looks so neat and good quality. Yeah, really well planned out. Nice and tidy wiring harness. So there's not much left in here now. There's some wiring harnesses here. Now what I want to look back in is this section. So we've got a couple of screws to take out here, and then hopefully it's the same size as before. Yep. Let's get this ducting out, and we should see a neat little fan in the back there. Another hidden little couple of screws down here. Hoping you guys have had a good angle here to see everything. Wouldn't be looking forward to trying to put this back together to try and film again. I think, yeah, we'll just wing it. And put in the comments if there's anything you might want to take a second look at. There's our little cooling fan. Right, so you can see that there. Just tiny, looks like a tiny little computer fan. And it looks like it's sort of got split. You know, the ducting is only taking up a portion of that area there. Sit that back in again, you can see the fan is actually circulating some air around the rest, and then a portion of it here is focused on those, you know, these main headlight LED cooling fins, making sure that a good direction of air goes over the top of those. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, nice little fan. Yeah, all looks pretty good quality. You can tell the good quality of the molded stuff just on the finish and how it all comes out of the molds. That looks quite good. So we've got one thing left down the back here. We've got a this is the LED. It's a pretty massive heatsink. This was the LED that drives that little light tube at the front. Yeah, that is all just cooling heatsink. So we'll unplug that as well. There we go. A bit rough on things today. Nothing left in that back housing. Okay, so this was the LED that fed into this light tube. So that was over the end of that light tube, and then that lights up this whole tube way. And that's the thin strip you can see at the top of the driving light. And yeah, I can overlay a video of that anyway. Now this one here has 6 LEDs in there, and I might try and just have a look at those and work out whether, yeah, they could be, we might just take that off. But okay, so There's another little LED board. We've got the heatsink. Yeah, don't know why they don't put any sort of heat transfer paste on here. That's quite a decent size heatsink. So yeah, this board here, we'll try and, I don't know, I can't really see. We'll get that under the microscope and see if they are RGB LEDs, I guess, if we can tell that. But I think, you know, possibly that strip along there, you know, can colour change. I'm not sure if anyone knows that. Just put something in the comments. These little LEDs here just look like white LEDs to sort of reflect here for your daytime running lights. But yeah, so that looks quite good. That's sort of everything apart here. Yeah, so move the parts tray out of the way. Yeah, that's the matrix LED. We've got the focusing lens, just run over everything again. Daytime running light tube LED, the heatsink for that. Main control module for the light. Ducting with the fan. We've got the daytime running light section with a reflector and the light tube. We've got our indicator down the bottom with the LED boards there. And we've got our main bracket for the adaptive headlights, and so we saw that had a range of movement, as well as the focusing lens here. That had a range of movement as well. Not as much range of movement as I thought, but then you're controlling the light pattern with this matrix LED anyway. And then we have the outer case, and then the main frame all neat and tidy. Yeah, quite nice, up to Tesla's standard. Hella has done a pretty good job with this. All right, guys, I really enjoyed making that video. I should have just gone with my gut instinct at the beginning and just ran with how I did that video today. So with my technical training background, I often had things thrown at me last minute to train people on, and often things that I really didn't understand, and I had a steep learning curve with a lot of things. So I'm well practiced at the winging it skill. And yeah, hopefully that worked for you guys and you got something out of this. I really enjoyed it. I'd love seeing all that tech contained within that light. And I really had a lot of fun working that out and seeing what's inside there. I just can't wait for that functionality to be turned on now in that light. I think it would really add a lot to this car. It's already a pretty amazing car, and those headlights, even as standard, are pretty good, but that adaptive function is going to be pretty cool, and Tesla take the approach to that as they have for the rest of the car. It's going to be pretty amazing. So if you feel like you've got something to contribute to this video, that was something that I always enjoyed with training, was the two-way side of things, because I never professed to understand everything, and someone in a training group always had something to contribute. And the only way we can do that with a video is through your comments. So comment away, ask away. There's no such thing as a silly question. And I guarantee you there is someone else that is thinking that same question as well. So everyone will benefit from that, and that makes this a two-way thing. So I really enjoy responding to comments and explaining things a bit better than probably I had in the video. So that gives me an opportunity to fill in some blanks in the video as well. So comment away. And I really appreciate you guys watching and your patience waiting for me to get this video done. And yeah, I'll look forward to catching up with you next video. And like and subscribe if you haven't already. All right, guys, catch you next time.